want you to think about this here when we talk about Sandy, the storm, and its aftermath. As we speak right now, with the freezing temps out there, many of the victims of Sandy still don't have any heat in their homes. Some staying with relatives, but some, they got no place to go. And Files One Samantha Liebman, she went to Staten Island, where some, they've resorted to living in tents.
Eddie Salmon's home at 47 Center Place got a 1-2 punch.
The first one was Hurricane Sandy, with the water about 8 feet. I lost everything. Second, I had fire because I had to use the wood-burning stove.
Now he's spending his nights at this tent a block away to keep warm during these frigid nights. It was started and is run by Donna Graziano, a Brooklyn resident. Graziano isn't affiliated with a charity. She's still here providing meals, heat, and supplies because she says there's still a need.
Some have electric and heat, but have no means to cook because they've gotten no insurance, no FEMA, or nothing to rebuild.
There are organizations that are filling that void, like the Steven Siller Foundation. They are helping Midland Beach resident Butch Propansky and his brother make their homes livable.
We've done about 1,500 houses. We're just starting now to get into the mold remediation business. So that's going to be another kickoff for us. We bought about $50,000 of machines to do this.
Even though NYC Rapid Repairs has restored electric to Propansky and Salmon's homes, they say it took a while, and even with the repairs, they and many other residents still cannot stay in them.
My brother and I are fortunate enough to go to my mom's. She lives a bit of ways, and we have a high and dry place, but I know plenty of people have nowhere to go. They're in tents, they're in shelters.
Actually, I am the only one on the block with two houses, brand new houses. These are only people that are living over there until now, including me.
Amazing. And trust me, this doesn't end there. Now, the impact of the storm, it could linger for years to come here, even once all the debris is picked up. And there's still a ton left in some of these seaside communities. And just assume it's gone and they ship it away. Local municipalities, they're going to be feeling the after effects here in the pocketbook. And like I said, not for just one season here, but for a long time. Many facing sudden, dramatic declines in property tax revenues. Think about it. There's no homes, there's no property taxes to collect here, and they still have some of the basic necessities every town or city has to pay. Storm, it damaged tens of billions of dollars worth of real estate, so some of those hard-hit towns can't bring in remotely a fraction of the taxes from properties that lost their value. And joining us now to explain this is Andrew Hardwick. He's the mayor of Freeport, Long Island. As many of you know, one of the towns that was hit hardest by Superstorm Sandy. Mayor, thank you very much for a few minutes.
Thanks for having me, Rich. How are you?
Well, I'm doing okay. Tell us how the town of Freeport is. You know, now we're more than 3 months after the storm. Give an assessment for people who don't realize just how much damage is left behind in Freeport, how many homes and how many people are displaced.
Sandy has not left Freeport. We still have more than 3,000 homes that are in need of serious, moderate to major rehabilitation. We still have 4 co-ops that are empty. We're talking about thousands of residents that are displaced. And on top of that, now we have these frigid temperatures that are threatening to take out pipes, which means when those water lines go and heat lines go, we're going to lose flooring, we're going to lose walls and ceilings and a lot of the fixtures that are in many of these homes because that frozen ice is going to do some damage. And that was one of the things we were trying to avoid if we had gotten the monetary support that was needed early on.
Can you just speak for one moment to that about the ridiculousness of how long Washington has taken in getting the funding to our region after the storm here? For people who say, well, at the end the money's going to get there, no harm, no foul. Tell them why the time in between the storm and when it finally does come, why it makes a difference how long it took.
Well, and that's exactly right. You know, the games that were played, you know, at some point in time, you have to feel like a person in a foreign country that's hated. But then we've seen foreign countries that hate us get treated better when it comes to support from the United States. We have to remember that in most cases when around this country, when people have suffered such a tragic circumstance, help would be there within a 12-day period. We're now beyond 80 days, and we still have people that are suffering. And now it's too late, because we had a great window of opportunity that would have given us the chance to really get in and restore the heating systems that were so important back when. Now, you know, we're in trouble because these temperatures have plummeted.
And even when the money does get there, albeit late, Mayor, there's a reality that you know all too well that I think is just dawning on a lot of folks. Towns like yours and cities, yes, you'll get your aid from Washington, but you got mandates from the state, and more than that, you have basic requirements that you have to pay for, like police, fire, all the basic services that a city or a town has to provide. And now you don't have homes or property tax revenue that you used to count on. Talk about the reality and how that manifests in some impossible decisions that people like you and mayors of cities across this region devastated by the storm have to deal with.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I traveled to Washington, because it was also the U.S. Conference of Mayors winter session. It was important for me to express to my colleagues from around the country the need for their support in moving forward. We understand that we're not going to be able to make the difference from taxpayers' pockets. They just don't have it. And this isn't the first storm that we've had to deal with. We've got to start thinking smarter now, because to just rehab and build back the way that we have in the past is not going to work for us. And we don't have the wherewithal with the finances. So we need the bailout that our government gave the auto industry, Wall Street, and the people with deep pockets. We're the real America that they need to really look out for now. So we need to sit down at a real table with real conversation and build our future back together. We need the U.S. government to support us, because we don't have the money to do it on our own.
Let's say, unfortunately, Mayor, those additional monies don't come. Talk about some of the tough realities that Freeport residents are going to have to face here. I'm imagining you're going to have to cut funding to schools, to police department, to fire department, emergency services. I got to imagine property taxes are going to have to go up even if people don't have the money. Talk about how you're going to find revenue and at the same time make painful cuts.
You're right. You know, we're going to have to make some serious cuts down the lines if we don't get the kind of financial assistance that we need from higher government. And the last thing we need is the money to be sent and not delivered to Freeport. So that's the reason I attended a meeting with a task force from Washington, along with the Nassau County Executive Ed Mangano yesterday, with the county executive, to ensure that Freeport gets its fair share of this aid money. We anticipate we're going to need 1.5 to 2 years to bounce back from this. And it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to have to be a concentrated effort from public officials so that we don't lose sight of what our destiny is. And that so often happens in government. You know, you get to a certain degree and then people think we're there and they stop when we've got a lot further to go.
And just as I'm looking or trying to, you know, from miles away, trying to see what you got to deal with, you've got the immediate problem where you got residents of yours freezing or without houses. But then you've got a situation where you got the bond raters looking at you guys, and they may knock down your bond rating. And then people are going to say, heck, I want to reassess my house here. It's not worth what it's used to. And I got to imagine you're trying to caution them, saying, hey, that might work today, but what do we do as a town, as a city, right? I mean, I can only imagine the one problem on top of the other for you.
Mm-hmm. Rich, you're right on target with that, because I'm trying to get folks to understand we're better served if we go about the business of getting back where we should be. You know, let's work hard together to restore our properties and hold our assessed values to where they should be, because the money comes from the same pot. So if you were to take a reassessment and take money away from what you would normally pay in terms of your assessed tax, then who makes up the difference? We do, because it's from the same pot of money. So what are we going to do, raise taxes and make the difference? Because you got to pay the bills.
Hey, Mayor, when I say I wish you the best of luck, I mean it. You got a long challenge ahead of you here, and I wish you the best of luck both with Washington and obviously easing a lot of legitimate concerns here, your residents. Thank you for a few minutes.
Thank you, sir. God bless.
All right. We'll have time to keep coming back to this story, but it will, I think, go down when we look back on it as a national shame what we did to those communities for as long as it took to get what aid they're going to get. All right, we take a quick break. When we come back, though, we get into the issue of women in combat. We'll hear from a female member of the armed services for her reaction to the news that now women can serve on the front lines, and we'll ask the table if the DoD made the right decision. Stay with us.